Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this video. So today we have an Atari Lynx II that does not power on. Now these are notorious for having power issues, and if you go to the AtariAge Forums and just search Atari Lynx 2 no power issues, there are tons of posts about this problem, and I must have read through all of them, so I actually learned a lot, or I think I learned a lot. But let's see if we can fix this thing. So I believe what fails on these things are the voltage regulation that takes the 9 volts from the battery or the power supply and drops it down to 5, and when they fail they tend to send 9 volts through the machine, so which means chips that need 5 volts to run are getting 9 volts and essentially frying themselves. So it's very possible that this just doesn't work. There are a couple things we can try to see if that is the case. I'm hesitant to power this thing on to try and power it on using the power adapter because I don't want to send the 9 volts to the chip. But on the other hand, I'm assuming that if this thing is fried, someone else has already tried this and the damage is already done. So just keep in mind with these ones you have to have a game installed for it to turn on, so we will use Ninja Gaiden. So let's plug that in, plug this into the power, try and turn it on. And we get nothing. So let's take this thing apart and see if it works, or if we can get it to work. Alright, so gotta take these rubber legs, rubber feet, whatever pieces off. Then there's just 4 screws. I'm going to take the battery cover off, and there is a screw there. And I believe it should just kind of come off. Yeah, it's starting to pry. Okay, so we've got the back piece off. So now one of the first things we can do is, well, we can remove the battery cover, but I'm going to leave that in right now just because before we waste too much time, let's see if this thing's going to work. So I believe what we can do is, if you see, I'll pull this out a little bit, where's this capacitor right here, this blue one. I think it's C41 on the motherboard, but if we apply 5 volts to this, I think it bypasses all the circuitry that turns on the Lynx, and it'll just automatically turn this thing on. So I want to try that real quick. I just want to get 2 wires, solder them to this, and then apply 5 volts to it, and then we'll know if we're wasting our time or not. So let's do that real quick. So I'm just gonna strip these wires. And let's make sure. So see, top is positive, bottom is negative, so that means this one is going to be, that one's going to be positive, so let's quickly solder to that, and I'm not really trying to do a good job of soldering it because we just want to test. So, get my stuff ready here. Destroying the camera, sorry. Hopefully you guys don't have motion sickness. So I'm going to try and tin up this wire, and I'm too lazy to try to throw flux on here, so hopefully it's not too miserable. And I should have cleaned my soldering tip, but I didn't. Anyway, so let's just quickly solder this to that. That should be good enough. And now the black wire. Okay, that should be good. They're not touching each other. Just double check one more time. Okay, yep, top is positive. Okay, so now I have my bench power supply, or the yellow is negative, red's going to be positive. So I am going to, first I'm going to turn it on and make sure it's set to 5 volts. It is, it's 5 volts, 1 amp. Turn it off. And I'm just going to clamp this to this wire. And clamp this on this. And kind of keep them so they're not really touching. Put a game here. And honestly, I don't think actually we need a game in here. Actually, I do want to put the back cover on this. Where did that go? I think here it is. Just because if this thing, once this thing does get power, some of the circuitry in here for the light is high voltage for the transformers and stuff like that. So I don't really want to touch it and kill myself. So you definitely want to be careful. But I'm just gonna lightly hold that. Okay, so now we have it all set. I'm going to turn on my power supply. Let's see if this thing turns on. Oh. Screen lit up. But the game? Alright, let's turn it off. Let's try again. So I don't think this thing is going to work. Bummer. Okay, so I was a little bummed that this didn't look like it appeared to be a fixable console, and it isn't as far as I think. But I did buy this cool replacement parts piece from console 5 that comes with a bunch of, basically the power circuitry, or at least the main components that typically fail in the power circuitry here. And that would include the D13 Zener diode, which I believe takes the 9 volts and drops it down to 5 so that the rest of the chips can run off of it. And then it had also the Q7 and Q8 transistors, the Q12 MOSFET, which I believe is a switching MOSFET that is basically what turns the Lynx on and off. Don't quote me on that. It also comes with the DC jack and a replacement resistor if needed. Some Lynx are picky about the voltage that they need to run, so this a resistor is a lower value resistor and will actually increase the voltage if you need it to that Zener diode to make it run properly. And also the last two videos that I recorded have turned out to not work, or not be repairs at least. So I was a little bummed about that as well, and I just wanted to get something out here. So this will be one of those B-rolls, failed attempts kind of things, but still it was nice for the practice just to kind of get in here and replace these components. I do want to order another Lynx II and try the same thing again and see if that fixes it, because I think that'd be really cool. And then again, this is really fun. I'll put a link in the description for the console 5 repair kit, and yeah, not really sure what else to talk about here other than you can watch me stumble along with the heat gun and these little components. I definitely don't know how the people with who do the micro soldering do this. These parts aren't really all that small, but they were a pain to work with, so I can't imagine what a really tiny capacitor or stuff like that, on an iPhone, would be like. So kudos to those people. But yeah, there's still a bunch of video left, a couple more minutes, so feel free to just continue watching, hang out. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. But as always, thanks for checking out the video, guys, and hopefully you'll have a better video coming down the pipe soon. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.